This is for chest. This is for triceps. This is for lats. But this is for pecs. For many essential exercises, the way you do the exercise completely changes the muscle you're working. How wide you place your hands. A change of grip. Where your feet go can shift the effort from one muscle to another. Small changes, different mechanics, different muscle doing the work. So in this video, our expert trainers take you through 10 key exercises, where a small adjustment completely changes the mechanics of the lift. Did you know dumbbell pullover is an exercise that works either chest or back, depending on how it's done? Most people think it's just a chest movement. But in the part of the movement where the dumbbell goes behind the head, coming up to vertical, the lifting is done mainly by the lats. So trainers working back tend to do just this part of the movement, stopping when the weight is above the chest. Alternatively, bringing the weight forward over the chest shifts the emphasis onto the pecs, making this an excellent chest exercise. So the way to focus purely on the pecs is to take the weight back as far as the head and no further. Same movement, same equipment, different muscle doing the work. For cable flies, the direction of the movement determines which fibers in the chest are working hardest. In the high to low version, the cables start above shoulder height, and the arms sweep down and in, putting more emphasis on the fibers that pull the arms down and across the body. The lower chest. But changing the setup so the cables start low means the arms travel up and in front of the body. Now, more upper chest fibers are engaged in driving the movement. Some trainers prefer a hammer grip with this exercise, putting a little more emphasis on front delts. Our experts note that the cable machine offers multiple settings and different stances, letting you work the pecs from a wide range of angles. A great way of developing a full, rounded chest. Seated cable row is a staple back exercise. But a small change in how you perform it shifts the emphasis to different parts of the back. Using a V handle creates a narrow grip, elbows close to the body, meaning the movement places more emphasis on the lats. Moving to a wider grip brings the elbows out to the sides during the pull, shifting the emphasis higher up the back. Now, the work is being done more by the upper back muscles, using the rhomboids, middle traps, and rear delts. As the movement becomes focused on pulling the shoulder blades together. So with rows, different grips and handles lead to different paths for the elbows. Push-ups are one of the most familiar exercises, but a simple change in hand position can shift the effort to different muscles. With hands wide apart, the elbows naturally move out as you lower your body, a movement that puts the emphasis on the pecs, the muscles which push the arms away from the body. But when your hands are brought close to the body, tucked in by the sides, the movement changes. This is much more about straightening the arms, a job that's done mainly by the triceps. So the key detail with push-ups is how close your hands are to each other. Same exercise, different emphasis. On the leg press machine, everything is fixed. So, not much variation, right? But did you know a small change in where you place your feet on the platform can shift the emphasis between different muscles in the legs? When the feet are set lower on the platform, the knees bend more as you lower the weight. So the movement relies more on the quads, the muscles that straighten the knee. So the lower foot position makes the leg press more like a quad-dominant squat. But if the feet are set higher on the platform, the movement changes. The knees don't travel forward as much, but the hips now move through a larger range of motion. This brings the glutes and hamstrings more strongly into the press. So the important detail on the leg press is foot placement on the platform. Pull-ups are one of the best exercises for building the back. But a small change in grip transforms how the movement works. For the more standard wide grip, the elbows move down and slightly outward. The movement is controlled by the upper part of the lats, making this a popular exercise for building a wide back. But moving to a narrow grip, bringing the hands closer together, forces the elbows into the sides. The movement is much more about bending and straightening the arms. It's still a back exercise, but there's more work being done by the biceps, which makes it a useful bridge between back work and arm work on a pull day. So, with pull-ups, the key detail is how wide you place your hands on the bar. For dips, a subtle change in the angle of the body can transform a chest exercise into a triceps exercise. Leaning the torso forward puts the elbows further behind the body at the bottom of the movement, giving the pecs more of a stretch, especially the lower pecs, which then help drive the body back up. But keeping the torso upright, body more vertical, keeps the elbows closer to the sides. The exercise is much more about straightening the arms, forcing the triceps to take the lead. So with dips, the important detail isn't the equipment, it's your body position during the movement. The squat is one of the fundamental exercises in the gym. But a small change in foot placement can shift the emphasis between different muscles in the legs. With a narrow stance, feet roughly shoulder-width apart, the knees travel further forward as you lower into the squat, which means the quads, at the front of the thigh, do more of the work as they straighten the knee to bring you back up. But with a wider stance, the knees don't come forward as much, while the hips go further back, shifting more work onto the muscles that extend the hips, especially the glutes and inner thigh muscles. So, the key detail with squats is your stance width. Same exercise, but a different balance of muscles driving the movement. Dumbbell curl is another familiar exercise, where a simple change of grip alters which muscles take the lead. In a standard dumbbell curl, palms face upward as you lift the weight. That position allows the biceps to work in their strongest role, bending the arm while the palm is facing up. But in a hammer curl, the dumbbells are held with the palms facing each other, creating a subtle shift in the mechanics of the exercise. The biceps are still involved, but now the movement relies much more on the brachialis, the muscle tucked under the bicep, as well as the forearms. It's good to hit this variation on a regular basis, because brachialis is a key muscle for adding thickness to the arm. So with curls, the key detail is, again, hand position. The The movements of the deadlift and the stiff leg deadlift look pretty similar. But there's a subtle difference that completely shifts which muscles are working hardest. In a regular deadlift, the knees bend as you lower the bar, and then straighten as you lift. So the effort is shared between the quads, which straighten the knees, and the glutes, which drive the hips forward. Hamstrings play a smaller role, but with multiple muscles working together. The standard deadlift is a full lower body lift. A stiff leg deadlift is used as more of an isolation exercise. The main difference is that the knees stay almost straight, so the movement comes mainly from pushing the hips back, then driving them forward again. More work for the hamstrings and glutes, less work for the quads. Something trainers really feel on the hamstring stretch at the bottom of the movement. So that simple change in how much the knees bend makes a massive difference to the mechanics of the exercise. So, next time you're in the gym, remember there's more than one way to do even the most familiar exercises, because small details can make a big difference to your training.